Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and I love that I get to spend this Saturday with you, talking to you about your health, coaching you, guiding you, and helping you live life to your fullest potential. We have an incredible show topic for today, partly because many of you have asked. I think it's because the weather's getting nicer. We're wanting to go outside more often, and so this comes to the point of sort of like spring cleaning our body, losing weight, detoxing. We're going to talk today about how to overcome those resistance points in your weight loss goals. Think of it like weight loss resistance, or when you plateau, you've lost 5, 7, 10, 15, but you have a goal of 30 or 40 or 50, and you're doing everything right, and it just doesn't seem to take it to the next level. We're going to be discussing some of the most common causes for plateaus and give you some tips and techniques on how to push through them and break out of them. Just know that this, of course, is your health hour. So if you have a question or if you have something you'd like us to talk about, head on over to AskDrErnst.com. Use the top right-hand corner contact button, and you can submit your question. You can ask us about a show topic. You can say, hey, what about this? Can we talk about? And we use this information to build what I bring to you guys each and every week. So, of course, it's for you, and we want you to be engaged with that. Don't forget to also check out all of our social channels. So Facebook.com, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Parler, you name it. The handle is Ask Dr. Ernst. That's AskDrErnst. And those of you watching on our live stream, let's take a moment and hit those likes and thumbs up and hearts and everything. We know that we create engagement. It helps people to see the message and hear the message. And we've got so much information for you today. I mean, my goodness, where are we even going to begin? And if you're looking for more key specific points, don't forget your resources are always available on the website, AskDrErnst.com. So weight loss plateaus, weight loss resistance, of course, it can be very frustrating. And it's generally a term for the simple fact that when you do everything right and you're exercising and you're changing your diet, and you may have lost 5 or 10 pounds, good, or 15 or 20, great. But again, if your goal is something greater than that, 35, 40, 45, and you are 3, 4, 5 weeks into your health program, and all of a sudden it just seems like the brakes have been hit, and it can get frustrating. And sometimes what happens is many of us will say, well, I'm doing everything, and I just can't seem to get an improvement. So I want to help you today to understand, where does that come from? Why does this happen? And then most importantly, how do we put on some steps and some keys to break through those plateaus, which will help you ultimately hit your health goals? Don't forget, if you've been tuning in for any of the shows I've been doing for the last, 7 years now, every single month I host a webinar, and next Saturday is one of my most favorites. It's on energy, it's on weight loss, it's on skin clarity, it's on your thyroid, some of the major hormones that are responsible not just for weight loss resistance. We're going to talk about your thyroid today, but I want you to think of your thyroid hormones as sort of like youthful, zestful, elating hormones, all those ones that we all want to have, right? That clarity to our brain, the clearness to our vision in our eyes, the weight loss, the energy, the sense of sort of unplugging yourself from the matrix. Guys, I'm here to tell you a lot of that has to do with your thyroid. And you might be thinking to yourself, I don't have a thyroid problem. I don't take the medications. My doctor has said my thyroid is good. Well, be careful, because what we're learning is a lot of superficial thyroid issues show up as another problem in the underlying aspect of your metabolism, so we can help you with that. It's a thyroid webinar, it's a weight loss webinar, it's an energy webinar, it's a life webinar, right? How to have your life back. That is next Saturday. We're at about 70% capacity. We have a ton of people registered, but I still have space. And if you'd like to join us, 704-906-2094. It's a quick number. You can call it, and we'll get you registered for free. Imagine, in the comfort of your home, I can show you how to break through with weight loss, energy, fixing a thyroid if you have that. And unfortunately, so many people do deal with thyroid issues. So if you're taking Synthroid, levothyroxine, Armour-Throid, and you're going, there's got to be a way out of this. 704-906-2094. And of course, that will get you registered for free, and you'll get the access next Saturday at 10 a.m. So let's start talking about weight loss plateaus. It's a common issue that a lot of people deal with, but I want you to understand the challenge here is usually the reason for the plateau is sort of specific to what's going on in your life. It's something custom to you. And so, for example, some people have been doing heavily caloric restriction diets, or these HCG diets, or the crazy diets where it's like, I'll eat 500 calories, I'm going to fast a tremendous amount of time, and you'll lose some weight, but then you'll get stuck. Or you have people that have gone keto or paleo, and they do really well, and again, they get stuck. So I want you to understand, the reason the stuckness happens is because your body is all about adaptation for survival. So if you go through a period of time with, say, cutting out carbohydrates or cutting out calories, in the beginning it's going to be great, but your body's going to say, wait a second, where did all of my resources go? Pull the brakes. I need to see what's going on. So we have to talk about creating variation. We have to talk about your nutrients. We have to talk about your inflammation, your hormones. So we have an incredible show for you today. And I think you're going to get an answer as to what you're looking for on how to jumpstart that weight loss. Again, don't forget, next Saturday, May 1st, is my full webinar. This is where I get to customize it specific to you. We're there for about an hour to an hour and a half, and we'll break down every key step on how to identify which hormone it is, what the reason for the weight loss resistance is, how to bounce back from your health, your vitality, your energy, and I want to make sure that you get registered as an opportunity. Call this number, 704-906-2094. If you don't want to call, you can text. It's simple. Name and email, and we'll get you registered for the free webinar. Weight loss, vitality, energy, 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
How come there are people who drink a pint of whiskey a day for 20, 30 years, and at the end of it only 20 or 30% become cirrhotic? What happened to the others? And we speculated, we hypothesized, it's the enzyme, alcoholic dehydrogenase made by the stomach. Maybe it's different, maybe it's genes, maybe it's polymorphism. The answer appears to be coffee. If you drink that much alcohol and drink 1 cup of regular coffee a day, 20% reduction in alcoholic cirrhosis risk, 2 cups 40%, 4 cups 80%. It's not a license to drink heavily and drink coffee and protect your liver. You could still get Korsakoff psychosis, cardiomyopathy, pancreatitis, kill people on the road, ruin your marriage, but it does protect the liver. It's pretty amazing.
Here's the secret your grocery store does not want you to know. At ThriveMarket.com, get up to 50% off all your organic groceries, delivered to your door for free. Shop organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, and paleo. And get a free jar of coconut oil. Thrive Market. Wholesome products, wholesale prices. Get your free coconut oil today only at thrivemarket.com.
So this is the difference between biodynamic and conventional farming. Let's look at the difference in vineyards here. You have very green grass and herbs and life growing, and then dead soil over here. So this is a conventional vineyard where they spray pesticides, they use a lot of tractors to pull up the soil. This soil is dead, it's dry. There's no life. This is Klaus's vineyard. It's farmed biodynamically. Everything is picked by hand and they don't use any chemicals. So there's life, there's green grass, everything grows. This is the big disparity between conventional farming and biodynamic farming, and you can see it perfectly side by side. We prefer this wine, of course, because this wine is dead. There's nothing living in it.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and today we're breaking through weight loss plateaus. We're busting weight loss resistance. We're going to help you understand, where does this come from? This concept that I've done everything right. I changed my diet. I changed my exercises. I lost 10 pounds or 15 or whatever. But my goal was 30, 40, 50, whatever that bigger number is. And no matter how hard you push, no matter how hard you restrict, we're not getting any major movements. And so what I want you to understand is, it's not necessarily your fault. There's an internal relationship of what's going on inside your body that is holding back the weight. Again, it's not you being good with your diet. It's not you cutting your calories down. It's not you working out inappropriately. It's more that you need to make a change internal so that you can let those same effects have a better result. Here's what I mean by that. Main reasons for weight loss resistance or plateaus include hormone irregularities. So we now have to not just pay attention to the foods you eat, but we have to pay attention to how the hormones in your body is working. Autoimmune conditions, which actually are quite rampant, can hold you back. The most common being a thyroid condition that you don't know about, but you have antibodies preventing normal thyroid functionality from happening because it attacks the hormones for weight loss. Yes, your thyroid hormone is vital and crucial for your weight loss. It could be a toxicity issue, so we need to talk about that. It could be an excessive amount of stress, which plays around with your hormones, so we have to talk about that. So there's a ton of aspects of what could create you to lose the inability to lose weight. And we're going to also give you some tips and techniques on how to conquer those and break through them. The number one thing that I've seen in the last 15 years of being a clinician is it's always because of there's some sort of a deficiency within your body, specifically at a nutrient level. Let's just talk about nutritional imbalances in the first place. Studies show that more than 30% of Americans are deficit in the majority of main nutrients that we need, not only to lose weight, but for health and healing. Vitamin C, vitamin E, vitamin A, for example. There's even evidence that shows that 80% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D, and vitamin D is a crucial hormone to help you not only boost your immune system, but to help you lose weight. 90% of Americans, according to some studies I've been reading, are deficient in the basic omega-3 fatty acids, which help to decrease inflammation, regulate blood sugars. And so, simply put, what we are is we're overfed, but we're undernourished. The quantity of food you eat isn't always so important. So that's why restricting quantity may not be the solving answer for you. We have to look at the quality of the food you consume. We have to look at what's inside of the foods that you eat. And we also have to pay attention to when you eat. One of the most important things you can do to help you break through a plateau is start focusing on eating, of course, as you've heard me talk hundreds of times, real, whole, unprocessed, unrefined foods where we remove things like carbohydrates, hidden sugars, and we need to make sure we increase foods that support our gut health. 75% of your plate needs to be from vegetable and or plant-based foods, especially if you want to break through a weight loss plateau. Why? The bacteria in your intestines, they love this fiber, and higher fiber vegetables and even carbohydrates that have some fiber inside of them help to pull cholesterol and pull fats out of your body for safe elimination. We also have to recognize that if you want to burn fat, you're going to have to eat fat. And this is a challenge that most of us struggle with today because the conventional wisdom of decrease calories, increase output will talk to you about going low fat or going low carbohydrate. In fact, you need fats to burn fat. And there are multiple studies showing that some of the best fats for burning fat include the omega-3 fatty acids, or these monounsaturated fats that we find in things like olive oil and hemp seed oils and even avocado oils and coconut oils, also in the fatty fish that you consume. Another aspect of nutrition you need to pay attention to is the type of probiotics you consume. Well, there are multiple studies showing that why we tend to be so resistant in losing weight around our abdomen is because there's inflammation and irritation to the microbiome. You're missing the healthy bacteria in your gut. It leads to a condition called leaky gut. And if you think about it, your body's infinite wisdom would say, oh, there's all these proteins and nutrients and toxins leaking through the intestines into the bloodstream, which can create an inflammatory process. So what does it do? It uses fat as like little trash cans. So the fat will hold the toxins. It grabs it. And because the leak is often present in your abdomen, guess where the bulk of the fat shows up? In the love handles, in the muffin tops, in the areas that you're saying, no matter how hard I push, Dr. Ernst, in the gym, I can't seem to get rid of this. It's got to come from a change in not only just what you're doing for your exercise and your diet, but focusing on core nutrition and rebuilding your microbiome. Coconut, of all things, studies have demonstrated that the anti-inflammatory and the weight loss benefits of adding coconut exceed that sometimes of what you can get by working out. Medium chain triglycerides, or what are called MCT oils, are found in larger quantities in coconut butter, coconut oil, and even some of the coconut products, the flakes and the meat and things to this effect, which are fabulous at burning fats. Medium chain triglycerides specifically activate a fat-burning process in the cells of your body that help you to produce what's known as a ketone body. And ketone bodies, of course, also then help you to burn fats. This is partly why so many people go keto. They do this high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet because they want to engage that burning state of the ketosis. So that could be one area of what you might need to do is, rather than just saying, I eat well, let's get more analytic. Let's start looking at our numbers. Fiber-rich foods. Did you know that nuts and seeds specifically carry a special fiber called glucomannan, which actually helps to feed the bacteria in your intestines and helps you to turn on a fat-burning state? So perhaps we need to add a few more nuts or seeds into your diet. Fermented foods, specifically kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, etc., have been shown to enhance a significant amount of probiotic load to the intestines, which of course helps them to become more regulated, and that helps your body to start burning fat. We also need to talk about the types of foods you eat, not just from what category or the end, but a lot of times when we talk about foods, we're talking about the toxins that are connected to them. Did you know that a recent update was done to the Environmental Working Group's Dirty Dozen food list? I have it printed here for those of you who are watching our live stream, and you can find this by going to the Environmental Working Group, ewg.org, and just type in Dirty Dozen. Why am I showing this to you? Well, notice how a lot of these are colored fruits and or some vegetables, and these are the items that are the most heavily sprayed with pesticides. Why is this important? Well, look, you could be saying, I'm doing a great diet. I eat a lot of spinach. I eat a lot of, strawberries and grapes and blueberries and cherries and peaches and celery, tomatoes and pears, etc. But a lot of these foods are heavily sprayed with pesticides. They have a lot of residue on side of them. So I want you to think of it this way. If you are eating what you think is a good quality diet, but it's loaded with pesticides and or herbicides or chemicals, this can be what's holding you back from your plateau. What we would want to do instead is switch over to the more updated, what they call Clean 15 list. These are the foods that are least sprayed with pesticides. They have the highest amount of nutrition, and they also have been shown to some degree in research to be active in helping you burn fat. What's our Clean 15 list? Avocados, pineapple, onions, papaya, sweet peas, eggplant, asparagus, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, mushrooms, cantaloupe, kiwi, honeydew melon. Curious if you notice a trend here. Most of these things are green. Whereas if you watch a trend through here, most of these things are red or orange or yellow. I'm not saying that that's a direct correlation, but what I'm saying is you need to become more analytic. You have to start looking at your diet. Why would pesticides on our food prevent us from losing weight? Because, again, it's a toxin. So what your body does is it says, hey, fat cell, you look a lot like a trash can. Toxins, there's tons of them. Let's fill the fat cells with the toxins to protect you from the damage that these pesticides and herbicides and fungicides can do to the body. And usually because you absorb almost all your food through your intestines, it creates that irritation and inflammation. It kills down the microbiome. You start to develop that leak, and then the fat shows up around your gut. So the number one thing you can do right now to break through a plateau of weight loss resistance is increase your nutritional quality, possibly decrease the quantity of foods you eat. You don't need to eat as much food when there's more nutrients in them, and pay attention to the nature and the amount of toxins found on the foods you eat. That's why we say whole, unprocessed, unrefined foods are the best. Second, something to pay attention to is the fact that your gut has a significant relationship to your health. They've actually shown that the microbiome bacteria in your intestines regulate and control not only just your immune system, but they have chemical messengers that come off of those bacteria that help to tell your body when to burn fat, when to store fat, what to do with the fat. And the best part is you can control your intestines quite simply by changing your diet and using some high-quality nutrients, including a really powerful probiotic. With over 1,000 different species of known bacteria in your gut, I want you to recognize this. They've done studies taking mice that were obese and mice that were thin and literally transferring the bacteria from the obese mice to the thin mice. And what they saw was all the thin mice gain weight. Well, then the researchers did the same thing on the opposite side. They took the bacteria out of the healthy thin mice and they put it into the overweight and obese mice. And within a matter of days and or weeks, according to the study, these mice started losing weight and started becoming thin again. So there was a correlation between the types of bacteria you have in your intestines and the ability for you to have good, healthy weight. Many bacteria can actually trigger insulin resistance or diabetes or inflammation or irritation, this concept known as dysbiosis or a leaky gut. It is the second major reason that some of us break or are having such a hard time breaking through on a plateau. We're working out, we've changed our diet, but we need to pay attention to nourishing foods for our intestines. Some of the most powerful foods that can help you to clean out your gut are broths, bone broth, chicken broth, vegetable broth, fasting for a period of time with those broths, using those high-quality medium-chain triglycerides oil, coconut, avocado, hemp, flax, chia, and focusing on the low pesticide residue, high-fat plants on the working group list called the Clean 15 that can help you to clean the intestines out and seal the gut. This is two of many reasons why we tend to have such a struggle losing weight. We're going to keep talking about that for the rest of the hour, but I want you to know that right now is an opportunity for you to join me. Next Saturday, I'm hosting a webinar on bouncing back from thyroid issues. If you're on levothyroxine, Synthroid, Armothroid, any sort of thyroid medication, and you want to figure out a way to sort of take control of this yourself, that's the point of the webinar. 704-906-2094. Call it, text it. We'd love to have you tune in, and I'll show you how to break through those conditions. It's the Ask Dr. Aaron Show. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Today, Monticello has a population of 126. It's a small enough town, everybody knows everybody. There are no stoplights in Monticello, so if you're driving too fast, you're going to miss it. But if you happen to turn in, you're going to run across a great Protestant church that has services every Sunday morning. You can go to the post office, and the postmaster's name is Randy. He's always glad to see you. Everybody in town knows everybody. When you walk in the bank, you're called to by your first name. You're not just an account number. We've started the business there 10 years ago, and very slowly, surely, we've built up a business that actually reaches out and touches all 50 states and several foreign countries. At the turn of the century, diabetes was almost non-existent. But if you turn the clock up 100 years to 2000, we have a runaway epidemic of diabetes. When I went to school, nobody had ADD. I mean, you look at the modern school today, you've got kids taking medicine, and this is all driven off a diet. And it's so simple just to get back to the foundations of good, healthy diet, and by consuming, grass-fed beef, organic vegetables, getting away from processed foods. This is a paddock move. These animals are coming into this paddock. This has been at rest for probably 30 days, and as soon as they come in here, you can watch their habits. They're going to put their nose down. They're going right after high quality forage.
What I've done here today is give them a fresh strip of grass controlled by this tape over here. This has given them a very consistent ration from day to day. This is an example of what they're getting to eat right now.
But you can just observe the humor of the animals. This is the happiest time of the day. I call it ice cream and cookies. Looking down on the ground, on the landscape here, we have a lot of clovers. We've got annual forages, perennial forages, and a lot of the native forages have come back. The blue stems, the Indian grasses, they're much more prevalent in June and July, but the old seed stock is here. But if we manage the landscape like it should be managed, 95% of the public has never heard of CLA, but it's one of the best kept secrets in agriculture in these grazing animals. You get it from grass-fed beef, grass-fed lamb, grass-fed bison. And you might ask, what does CLA do? A very unique compound, one of the best things you could consume from the standpoint of cancer. It's very effective against cancer. It's very effective against diabetes. Research out of Purdue has documented that. A lot of animal trials, now human trials. And most interestingly, it actually helps the body put on lean muscle and reduce fat. 90% of the cattle in this country or more end up going into a commercial feedlot where they're slowly converted from a grazing diet over to a starch diet. When you fill the animal full of starch, you completely change the chemistry of the finished product, and you end up with an omega-6-3 ratio 20-1, 18-1, and the CLA production is almost nil because of the starch diet.
I don't think that you can beat this example right here where the sun's energy is producing this grass, and this grass is producing these cattle without having any antibiotics, growth promotants, or grain fed to them.
Grass-fed beef is a unique opportunity for you to take control of your health. I've taken control of my health over the last 10 years. I feel better, I feel stronger. Our animals eat right, so you can too.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst. Thanks for tuning in today. We have an incredible show topic. We're discussing why we hit the wall when we lose weight. What happens behind we lost 10 or 15 pounds and we're doing everything right, and then all of a sudden it's like no change over the last 2 or 3 weeks. We push harder, we restrict more with our foods, yet still no change. It's known as weight loss resistance. It's known as the weight loss plateau. And guys, there are some simple, easy ways to get out of it. The most important thing is understanding that a lot of it has to do with, again, the quality of your nutrition. We talked at the top of the hour about how many nutritional imbalances, like deficiencies in vitamins and nutrients, can prevent you from being able to burn the excessive fats that you need to lose. We mentioned that your gut microbiome is a direct player to how much you lose weight and also why it tends to stick around the muffin top, the love handles, etc. Unfortunately, a lot of us have a leaky gut or a dysbiotic gut where the bacterial relationship has become overgrown and it slows down your weight loss. And I hate to say this, but you can't go to the gym and work off a bad intestine, a leaky gut. You can't go to the gym and work out the bacteria in your intestines. They get their workout through you phasing probiotics and phasing your fasting and things to this effect. We mentioned that some of the greatest methods of cleaning your intestines and helping the bacteria to be back to their normal relationship, broth and broth fasting, rotational probiotics, doing a 2-week on, 2-week off cycle with some really good quality probiotics, using foods like coconut and chia and flax and hemp, not only just the seeds, but the oils. There's something very powerful about how your intestines like to be lubricated, not just to keep them moving, but to help seal the intestinal wall themselves. When your gut starts to heal, you start losing weight. You also start noticing major changes in other avenues of your health. I want to talk to you now about how hormones can be another reason why you've hit the wall. And again, you're not going to be able to work out your hormones. You're not going to be able to diet down your hormones. To fix hormones, we have to go down to the root interferences, which is often some sort of receptor imbalance and also chronic levels of inflammation. The most common hormone that I see that is holding people back from losing weight is called reverse T3. It is a thyroid hormone, but it is also a sort of second cousin to the thyroid hormone. A classic thyroid hormone, T4, T3, that the thyroid produces, lands on the cell wall, makes the cell burn fat, makes it build energy, gives you the vitality, the essence, everything you're looking for. What we tend to see sometimes in people is a drop in some of their thyroid hormones and a shift up in this hormone called reverse T3. Now, it's a very controversial hormone. It's been termed the hibernation hormone, simply because what it does is it decreases your metabolism, decreases your energy, leads to a slowness of almost all major systems. This is why a lot of people have things like thyroid issues will say, I have constipation, I'm tired, I'm cold, I'm fatigued, my brain doesn't seem to be working, I'm foggy. And guess what? The number one thing that they always struggle with is, I can't seem to lose weight. Where does reverse T3 come from? Well, it comes from your body taking your healthy, active thyroid hormones, T4 and T3, and going through a liver that's toxic or stressed or inflamed. Out comes what's called reverse T3. Those hormones actually make an interference in the ability for you to lose weight simply because that hormone itself says, slow down, hold the brakes. Make sure that there's no change within the body. Stop burning fat. Stop regulating your metabolism. And what you need to do is simply address the root issue. That's why I'm hosting this webinar next Saturday. Solving a thyroid is something you can do quite simply, but you have to get down to where is the imbalance coming from. Most of the time, reverse T3 is present because there's liver toxicity. We need to address a detox program. Another hormone that's involved, especially for both men and women, is estrogen. You might think of estrogen as something that, is not going to affect you, especially if you're a male. But what they've discovered is that higher levels of estrogen tend to create a resistance in our ability to lose weight. Unfortunately, what happens is that extra weight then makes it even harder, because I want you to think of your fat as physically an organ in and of itself. I know you're probably going, wait. I have organs that are made of fat? Yes. Fat actually secretes hormones. It secretes chemical messengers. And unfortunately, the more fat you have to lose, the more estrogen and the more other sort of hormones that get secreted as a result of that. Some ways that you can help to decrease your estrogen overload is simply focusing on, number one, getting tested to find out how much estrogen you have. And number two, recognizing that a lot of estrogen conversion takes place within the liver. This is why we talk so many times about a really important thing for you to do is to work on a detoxification process. We're going to discuss some of the simple ways you can add some detox products to your diet and your lifestyle in just a moment, but I have to also talk about cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. and it's instrumental in regulating both your blood sugar and your weight and your energy and the ability for you to heal. When there's high levels of cortisol, we tend to see high levels of sugar cravings and high levels of a difficulty in holding back on wanting to eat those sneaky snacks. That's why some people even say that cortisol is technically this sneaky hormone. And when your body is stressed, either both physically, mentally, or emotionally, cortisol production tends to get onto the overdrive. This means that, unfortunately, some of you are working out, stressing your body, making more cortisol, holding you back from losing weight. So I hate to say it, but it's possible that the very workout you're doing is creating an increase in cortisol, which is creating an increase in fat storage, which is holding you back. So therefore, what do? Well, we run longer, we run harder, we run more, and we increase the cortisol response. One of the best ways to fight back from that is to not hop on the treadmill for an hour, not go for a 5-mile run, but instead recognize that we can counterbalance the stress of the cortisol release by doing more of these high-intensity exercises. Short duration, high intensity, it decreases cortisol, increases human growth hormone, and can help you to break through those plateaus. My goodness, we have a commercial break coming up, and I want to tell you, next Saturday, which is the 1st of May, I'm hosting a webinar on breaking through weight loss plateaus, on solving this issue with Reverse T3, on helping you to bounce back from your energy by addressing the root issues, which could be your thyroid. It is for about 90% of people when they want to lose weight. So why don't you join me and let's see if we can solve that problem once and for all. The webinar is free. It's Saturday of next week. It's at 10 a.m. in the comfort of your home. Pick up the phone and call this number, 704-906-2094. That's 704-906-2094. It's the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. We'll be right back.
Ever been to the beach and you want to bottle up the feeling of relaxation and take it home with you? Lake Norman Salt Spa offers just that. In just one 30-minute session, you are immersed in a climate-controlled salt room with pure pharmaceutical-grade mineral salt, similar to sea salt. One 30-minute session is like going to the beach for the entire day. You not only receive the anti-aging benefits of the salt like you would at the beach, but you're also benefiting from recharging your body's natural battery. The standard American lifestyle exposes you to toxins and stress, which drains your battery, accelerating the aging process and developing disease. You can recharge your battery by surrounding yourself in an environment that is negatively charged, like mineral salt. The more negative ions in your system, the better you feel, and most importantly, the better you heal. On top of all these amazing benefits, the therapy is done in a completely sterile environment. Call the Lake Norman Salt Spa today for 50% off your first session. Call 704-997-5890. That's 704-997-5890.
Sterling believes in the science of CBD. Here's 3 great reasons to choose Sterling CBD. Reason number 1, Sterling is pure CBD. Sterling CBD is made from pure CBD isolate. We remove all the THC and unnecessary compounds, leaving only pure CBD. Reason number 2, backed by science. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, USADA, has approved CBD for U.S. Olympic athletes, but they only approve pure CBD, like Sterling CBD. Reason number 3, our organic hemp is FDA approved. At Sterling CBD, we quality control test at every manufacturing stage. We start with organic hemp plants and track them to our FDA-registered food-grade extraction facility. Our pure CBD products include capsules, isolates, lotions, and oils. We even have CBD pet products. You can find Sterling CBD at drernstscbd.com. Use the coupon code Dr. Ernst for 20% off your order.
So this is the difference between biodynamic and conventional farming. Let's look at the difference in vineyards here. You have very green grass and herbs and life growing, and then dead soil over here. So this is a conventional vineyard where they spray pesticides, they use a lot of tractors to pull up the soil. This soil is dead, it's dry. There's no life. This is Klaus's vineyard. It's farmed biodynamically. Everything is picked by hand and they don't use any chemicals. So there's life, there's green grass, everything grows. This is the big disparity between conventional farming and biodynamic farming, and you can see it perfectly side by side. We prefer this wine, of course, because this wine is dead. There's nothing living in it.
What if we told you coffee was good for you?
Coffee is the single highest source of antioxidants in the Western diet, more antioxidants than kale, more antioxidants than 70% dark chocolate, and more antioxidants than blueberries.
In fact, what if we told you that coffee is really good for you?
Research shows that 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day dramatically enhances performance in high-intensity exercise, improves memory, reaction times, and overall cognitive function, decreases risk of depression, promotes weight loss by boosting metabolic rates, reduces risk of type 2 diabetes up to 40%, decreases risk of liver cancer up to 71%, reduces risk of Parkinson's up to 30%, and decreases risk of Alzheimer's up to 65%. Overall, coffee drinkers live longer. People who drink 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day have about a 15% lower risk of premature mortality compared to people who don't drink coffee.
Good afternoon. Happy Saturday. You're listening to the Ask Dr. Ernst Show. Hey, it's a show where pounds are shed, disease is dead, and where you can be set free from your health problems. I'm your host, Dr. Aaron Ernst, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. We're talking about weight loss resistance, weight loss plateaus, and some of the common reasons that many of us struggle when we change our diet, when we change our exercise, to go beyond those first 10 or 15 pounds. Especially if your goal is, say, 30, 40, 50. I've even worked with some clients who are like, Dr. Ernst, my goal is to lose 100 pounds. Okay, well, we're going to need to do some drastic changes to not just your lifestyle, but also to your metabolism, to your diet, to your detox pathways. There's a whole host of things that can prevent someone from losing weight. And what I want to do now is give you sort of my 5 or 6 fabulous techniques of sort of upregulating your weight loss, especially if you're in that zone where you're saying, okay, I lost 10, I want another 10, or I lost 15, I want another 10 or 15. Naturally, the first step that we need to do is talk about increasing what I consider to be the fat-burning foods. Okay, and it comes back to what we talked about at the beginning with the nutrient deficiencies that so many of us have. Eating real food from nature instead of fake food from factories is by far one of the best and the easiest things you can do to start regulating your next step within your weight loss. Unfortunately, there are so many healthy foods that are packaged or frozen or boxed, and even though they might be keto friendly or Atkins approved or vegan and paleo, I'm here to just tell you they're still usually full of some sort of additive or a preservative or some sort of chemical that you wouldn't normally find. I hate to say it, but even a lot of healthy foods still use canola oil, or you'll still find soybean or some sort of lecithin extracts and things from corn or wheat, even though it's a healthy food. Fake foods, on the other hand, also can create inflammation and irritation, and I've talked about this multiple times before on several different shows. The easiest way to find out if your food is what I call not real is it boxed, bagged, frozen, or does it have some sort of massive ingredient list more so than just, say, 1 or 2 or 3 ingredients? As we talked about before, you want to focus on real food, real vegetables, those that I would consider to be the ones like on the Environmental Working Group's Clean 15 list. A, because they're low in toxins, B, because they're high in nutrients, and generally a lot of us say, well, look, I do this, but I just need to do more of it. Okay, some of the best things you can do to help you break through a plateau is to increase what are called the high fiber, low carbohydrate vegetables, specifically because they're found to be high in soluble fiber. And what soluble fiber does is it attaches to cholesterol particles, it attaches to fat, it helps to activate a detox process within your liver, and it removes a lot of the cholesterols and the fats from your blood, helps it to get into your digestive system, helps you actually eliminate some of the stuff you're trying to burn off. So some of these can be found in things like, again, carrots and peas, citrus fruits, psyllium husks, barley, and simply increasing your fiber will help to go a long way. Number 2, sort of a tidbit of a fact. Stop drinking your carbohydrates, your sugars, your calories. Stop eating grains and focusing on foods that might be whole grains and unhealthy for you, because what they do is they actually get turned into fat. Did you know that fructose, which is found in almost all major sweetened beverages, will turn directly into fat within your liver in a matter of hours? So if you're drinking beverages like, again, dairy or juices or snacks that are made out of grains or have a lot of corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup inside of them, really bad idea, because these extra sugars aren't metabolized the same as the sugars found in natural foods, and the fructose is converted into fat. This is why one of the most important things you can do if you want to break through a plateau is slow down on eating fruit, focus more on vegetables. Even things like berries and cherries and apples could be holding you back if you're eating too many of them. The next one is about eating mindfully, and here's what I mean by that. Mindful eating is something that's very important for you to learn how to control the relationship you have with food. Many times, a lot of us are food addicts in disguise. And one of the easiest ways to find out if you're addicted to food is just simply fast for a couple days and find out what starts to happen to you. What do you start craving? Some people will even say up front, 3 days, there's no way, I can't go 3 days without food. You just admitted up front that you have a food addiction. The human body can actually go for multiple periods of time, more than just 3 or 4 days without food, before it has a negative effect. So yes, you can fast for a day, 2 or 3. Do it simply because you can help to break that mentality you have with food. We also want to pay attention to how you actually eat your food. I know you might be, it sounds like you're my parents talking to me about slow down and sit down and eat my food, chew my food more frequently. Well, guys, the research is very clear. Really increase the number of times you chew the food you're about to swallow. You assist your body's digestive process. You help with the absorption of nutrients. Swallowing larger, less chewed foods makes it harder on your digestive system. You start to drain your body from the enzymes and the cofactors you need, the acids in your stomach. And believe it or not, it makes it so you don't absorb the foods you eat. It makes it so you become nutrient deficient. Slow down when you eat. Make sure you chew your food more frequently. Make sure you're aware of how much time does it actually take for you to physically feel full. How much food do you need to eat over a period of time? A lot of us, unfortunately, today, we eat in such a rush and on the go that we don't even really have time to sit and think about how we feel when we eat. We just go and we eat it and we move on. The challenge with that is it's been shown to create a reactivity to where a lot of people end up eating more frequently and more often. Did you know that the average American actually eats 17 meals per day, according to some of the research I've been reading? Because anytime you put food in your mouth, it's considered a meal. So those slight snacks here or there throughout the day often add up, and that creates a reaction where your body never enters into a state of having to work on itself, having to burn its own fat reserves instead of you constantly eating. So watch out for multitasking and eating at the same time. Watch out for the idea that you might find that you eat a food during more stressful periods than others simply because of the comfort that it brings. Intermittent fasting, I love it because it's a great way for you to take your weight loss to the next level. And you might be saying, already doing that, I do 12 to 8, I'm good, but I'm still not losing weight. Well, increase your intermittent fasting time frames. There's multitudes of ways you can intermittent fast. What the studies show is that by restricting the time you eat, not necessarily the foods you eat, and giving it at least a couple weeks of a rotation of doing this can actually turn on human growth hormone, which helps you to burn fat, gives you greater resistance, helps you to repair muscles and joint tissues. It decreases insulin. The less often you eat throughout the day, the less sugar spikes you get. So your body can actually bring the insulin levels down, increase your fat-burning hormones, help you to pull chemicals and toxins out of your liver, which is why intermittent fasting is also a great way to start detoxing. The less sugar you consume and the less insulin you have, the more effective your liver can go through its metabolism process and the more it can burn fat by itself. There's also great research showing that just simply by intermittent fasting, you can reduce the quantity of foods you eat, which is often in the high-calorie foods, so you reduce your caloric intake at the same time. The easiest way is to just simply skip breakfast, have lunch, and have dinner. Some of you might be saying, Done that. What do I do next? Well, go a little later. If you started at noon, go to 1. If you started at 1, go to 2. Start pushing the time frames back in how much time you're intermittent fasting. Still eat the same quality of food and the same quantity of food, but in a tighter window. You can also create variation. Maybe you fast intermittently for 2 or 3 days a week, and you eat fully 3 meals a day, 2 or 3 days a week, and you fast 1 day fully. Diet variation is also a great way to help you break through plateaus. Why? Your body is about habitual patterns. It's about adaptation. If you do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get a slowness to the result. So switch it up. Take a day where instead of fasting, you eat healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Take a day, perhaps after 2 or 3 days intermittent fasting, where you actually do no food for the day. You fast for 1 whole day just to shock your system and keep it into a rotation. I like the variation fasting. It's what I currently do. It's how I've sustained my weight loss for now almost 17 straight years. I've never had my weight come back because I constantly intermittent and I constantly adapt my fasting. We talked about how the style of your workouts is also very important for breaking through a plateau. Burst training, or these high-intensity interval trainings, have been shown in research to help you increase the fat that you burn in a shorter period of time than doing these longer style workouts. A high-intensity exercise is usually something where you do a rotation of some sort of an exercise for 40, 50, 60 seconds, and then you take a break, and then you do it again, and then you take a break, and the duration is going to be shorter, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but you're doing it at a higher rate, maybe 85 or 95% of your maximum heart rate for a shorter period of time than hopping on the treadmill and running for an hour or for 2. You can even do burst-style workouts with weightlifting. You can even do burst-style workouts with body weight workouts, where you're just using the movement of your body. You can even do it while you're walking or running or going on a bike ride. It's so easy to do the intensity workouts. You'll get a better effect from that. Another one I want to talk to you about is sort of a hidden secret, and you might not connect this, but your sleep has everything to do with your ability to break through a plateau. Lack of sleep is by far one of the most number one contributing factors to increase body fat, according to some experts. It's the most important part of fat burning, according to some researchers. If you want to find out how to start losing weight better, simply start adapting your sleep cycles. Change your pattern so you can go to bed a little earlier. Try to take some natural sleep aids. Do some mindfulness, meditation, yoga, something to help you get into the zone of sleeping. And if you increase your sleep quality, you'll also find that you tend to start losing fat faster. Lastly, let's try some metabolism boosters. I'm going to rattle them off quickly just because we're running shy on time. Cayenne pepper. A British Journal of Clinical Nutrition study found that by adding cayenne pepper to your diet, it increases fat burning. Matcha tea, green teas, increases fat burning. A unique seaweed called wakame increases fat burning. And that, my friends, is a great way that you can take your plateaus and bounce back from them and become that healthy, happy, whole, slightly less weight you. Again, if you're looking for more information on how to break through your specific plateau, let's get more customized. I'm hosting a webinar next Saturday at 10 a.m. in the morning on breaking through the weight loss plateaus that are often associated with thyroid conditions or other sort of autoimmune diseases. The webinar is free. You can join us, 704-906-2094. Call it, text it. I'd love to have you on the webinar. Let's get a little more specific with your health needs, and let's solve this the natural way. Hey, it's the Ask Dr. Aaron Show. I thank you so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until then.